What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cold and Posey Fishing. So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different, something that's been on my mind for a while, and it pertains to a lot of the questions that I get from y'all about bass fishing and how these guys find fish. It just seems like everywhere they go. So it's going to pertain to pretty much all that. So stay tuned. This is something you definitely don't want to miss. All right, so we're out here doing some rigging today, getting ready for the next couple of days because I'm gonna be out filming and stuff like that, trying to get you guys some content on some stuff that I've been getting questions on, and then stuff that I'd really like to cover that I think is very informative. But either case, let's go ahead and start rigging while I'm talking. So one of the things that I want to talk about is I get a lot of questions from you guys, especially a lot of the high school guys, some of the college guys, and then some of the other guys who are trying to, make a step up and make a career for themselves in the fishing industry. And basically, that question kind of pertains to, what you need to do to get where you're trying to go. And that's the thing, I'm not exactly sure exactly what some of you guys are trying to do, whether it's tournaments or the YouTube thing or, whatever it may be. But one piece of advice that I can give you is find your click and stick with it. And what I mean by click is don't just go after something wide open. And I'm guilty of it. Don't go after something wide open and expect everything to just come at a super fast pace. Some people are lucky like that. Jordan Lee's a great example of that. But either case, don't expect it to come quickly. And make sure whatever you're doing that you enjoy it. That's one of the things that I don't see a whole lot of people do. They're not enjoying their time on the water. Whether that be because they're way more focused on the career side of things than the hey, I love fishing stuff. So that's kind of what I went through on the tournament scene. I got to where I was affiliated with several different companies, and I was it was completely different than what I expected bass fishing full time would be. From the competitive side now. I'm just speaking from the competitive side, tournament side fishing. It was completely different than what I thought it would be. I came to realize when, after my daughter was born, that I was more focused on the business side of stuff, and I wasn't enjoying my time on the water like I had used to. And it was kind of like, all right, I got to go to the lake today and do this and do that, and then tonight I'm going to go home and study my maps and all that stuff, which was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun, but at the same time, it wasn't what I expected it to be. And what I want to let you guys know is, if you get into the competitive side, or if you get into the YouTube side or social media, whatever, and you realize it's not where you want to be, don't be afraid to adjust. You got to do what makes you happy, because if you're not happy with it, then you're just, it's like going to a regular 9 to 5 that you hate. So don't let it make you lose your passion for the thing that you fell in love with to begin with, which is fishing, bass fishing. And that's the thing. I learned that I like the competitive side, and I still want to compete, but I don't want to do it full time. I really don't. I just don't want to do it full time. Number one, I don't like being away from my family for long periods of time. Number two, I like to go out and just fish, and some people can do that in the competitive side, but me, I feel like I have to practice. I feel like I have to do certain things, and it takes a lot of the enjoyment out for me. I like being able to in the morning be like, hey, I'm going to Smith Lake, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go to Wilson, or just something different, and not really care, and just kind of adapt throughout the day whatever I need to be doing. And yes, you absolutely can do that through the competitive side of bass fishing. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's just me personally, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. And, there's just a lot more that goes into it than what people think. It's kind of like the whole YouTube thing. For those of you who may be interested in, the YouTube side of things, make sure that what you're doing, don't get so caught up. Like me personally, I want to make sure, like, I've upgraded all my camera equipment. If you can't tell by the newest videos, I've upgraded all my camera equipment, my microphones, stuff like that. I'm trying to produce better content, and I'm spending a lot of hours, 14 to 15 hours, just on like a 6-minute video. If I have something that's 6 minutes, anything longer than that, it takes 2 to 3 days to edit, So I like that stuff. I like the editing. I like all that. But you got to understand that, if you're going to produce content on YouTube or social media or stuff like that, and you're trying to produce better content, you are going to have to put a lot of hours in it, and it's going to take away from your fishing. But at the same time, I still get to go fishing the way that I like going fishing, just kind of on a whim. I don't really try to schedule my days or anything like that. I kind of have to time to time, but now I don't really have to. And that side of bass fishing to me is a lot more enjoyable. So keeping a positive attitude and definitely having a support system helps. If if you're married and your spouse wants you to do it and stuff like that, that's great. That helps you. But I understand a lot of people don't have that support system, and you kind of have to make that choice. And I don't want to tell anybody what to do at all. I'm just trying to let you know kind of how the train usually slides down the track. But don't keep a positive attitude no matter what you do, because 90% of bass fishing is a positive attitude. It's keeping your head on straight and understanding what you're trying to do, and then trying to meet that goal. But enjoying yourself along the way has a lot to do with it, because if you're like me and you don't enjoy yourself, and you kind of get to where you're going or get close to where you're going, you're just kind of like, man, I'm exhausted, So, try not to exhaust yourself, basically. But either way, I mean, I do want to say, look, whoever needs to hear this, if nobody believes in you, I know you don't know me and I don't know you, but I believe in you. And I believe you'll make it as long as you keep trying. Don't quit. Put every effort you can into it. You'll do just fine. But, just the one thing that I can tell all you high school guys who's coming up through the Bassmaster side of stuff, or, well, whatever you're doing, whatever you're wanting to do, the MLF, Bass, whatever, don't lose that passion for fishing. And when you feel like you're starting to, and it takes a lot of self-control, and you have to know yourself, and that just comes over time. But don't wear yourself out. Don't lose that passion for fishing, and just go out and enjoy yourself. If you're on the competitive side and you're not doing that good, and it happens to everybody. Look at John Crews right now. He's having one of the worst seasons, that he's had, and I don't know, maybe since he's been fishing. But either way, he's still out there every day, and he's still hammering to the best of his ability. I mean, the guy just doesn't have any quit in him. I mean, look at Gerald Swindle's a great example. I mean, he's been doing this for 30 years. I mean, he's won just about, I think he's won more money than any other angler. I may be wrong on that. He may not be, he may not have won the most, but he's got to be close. Either way, he's still there, because he has a passion for fishing. He has a passion for the competitive side of bass fishing. That's what he likes to do. You got to find that. Once you find it, you'll be a lot happier. But just, make sure you pace yourself, because if you don't, you can get burnt out on it pretty easy. But either way, guys, I got a lot of new exciting content coming out. If you have any questions or anything like that, anything on your mind, drop it down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I don't do this content often. Usually just focus on tips and stuff, but it's something that's been weighing on my mind pretty heavy, and I kind of just wanted to, bring it to light, because I get questions from you guys, and a lot of y'all hit me up about advice and stuff like that on what you're trying to do in the tournament scene, or what you may be trying to do on the social media side and stuff like that. And I can just tell you 99% of it's up here. It's not about necessarily what's in your tackle box and stuff like that. I remember as a kid going to the lake or anything like that, and man, I would fish one dock that I just knew a fish was on. I realized this the other night. What I realized was basically, like, I would go to that dock, and I would sit there and I would think, I was like, there's got to be a fish on that dock, and now I've realized I've kind of, I'll make a cast up in there, even if I think there's a fish there, and I'll kind of just go on, if I didn't get bit pretty quickly, and because I'm a power fisherman, that's what I learned to do on the competitive scene. And now I'm realizing, I don't necessarily have to move. I like to move, but I don't necessarily have to do that. I can slow down. It's okay. It's like the other day when I was up on Bear, I was running, jerk baits and crankbaits and things like that. The fish were kind of spread out, but they were feeding on the thread fin and stuff. And I, I realized, pretty quickly when they wasn't, fully biting these lures, that hey, I can just tie on a Texas rig worm. I don't really care to fish with a Texas rig worm, but I can do that and just try it. Throw on a Texas rig old monster and start catching them, and they're quality size fish. And it's like, well, okay, So I'm learning, and I'm growing myself. And I hope you guys are too, and I hope the video encourages you to keep doing that. Don't get in a funk. Don't let people put you in a funk. If you're around negative people, you're going to be negative. If you're around positive people, you're typically going to be positive. That's usually the way the human mind works, So try to keep yourself around positive people. If you don't have those positive people, surround yourself with things that you watch, things that you like to do with positive people in it. And keep your mind straight on, man. And or girl, whoever's watching, I don't know. But either way, just keep your head straight, keep it going, and you'll do just fine. I believe in you if nobody else does. So, but either way, guys, I hope the content helps you. If it does, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.